1995, of course, that's where we ended. That's when I had my third child, and she's called Faith. She's now a big woman. But during that time, God started like expanding. It was no longer now a simple house church, because after that sickness, which was so much, and then, I was talking about this sister whom I prayed for. She had come home that very day when I was almost dying, and then God brought her that time because she had been healed, and she came with sugar, she came with many things. She had told her what my body was needing. And it was during that time that God started expanding the ministry in a way that was far beyond the comprehension, the thinking of the people. They just now started finding out something strange happening here. Because I remember there was a woman in the neighborhood, in the clan, and this woman happened to be the same woman who had wanted me poisoned some years ago. And of course, God had showed me what they were doing, and I just didn't eat the food and things like that. And then here she is. She had she developed the nose cancer, which blocked all the nose all the way. And they tried to treat her, but it was not working because all the nose was blocked with some chunk of meat and kept growing. And that's when I got first hand with cancer. I had heard about cancer, but I didn't know what it was. So they took her to the biggest referral hospital in our country. They tried to put her on treatment. It got worse. And they just said, take her back home to die. So, and then I had a very strange, like it was a vision, like it was a dream. It's like I was talking with her casually. And then I went and I saw myself talking to her about that. And then as I was talking to her in that vision, I can't explain what it was, because it was like I was just conversing with her. And then I said, I am able, by the grace that God has given me, I am able to connect you to the healer. And then I said, I am able to give you healing because I can connect you to the healer, something like that. And then I came to myself. I said, what was I saying? Then I remembered that lady is actually at the death point. So then the Spirit told me, you can go there. So I walked there, and of course she was a staunch Catholic, and the husband was a Protestant. The husband was some kind of an uncle in the clan, and he was one of those architects of my persecution some years back, because he was like the clan secretary. So I went there and found her with her rosary, and the man was very mean, looking at me. And I talked to her, I greeted her, and of course she was breathing through the mouth because the hollow nose is blocked. And even feeding is now a problem, because every time she tries to eat something, she would be choked because the nose is blocked. So it was like she was just praying and crying to die. So when I talked to her, I said, I've come here. Of course, I'm a young man, as you can see. But I know there is no way I'm going to preach to you Jesus. You will not understand Jesus, because you are in so much pain, your minds are so far, you cannot get tuned to listen to me. But God has showed me that I can connect you to your healing. I don't know how. And then she was looking. And then the husband said, can you take away your nonsense by confusing my wife? I said, well, what if this nonsense works? What if this nonsense works? Because you've taken her to what is not nonsense. And that which is not nonsense has not worked. Because you've taken her to the hospitals, she has been there, and he has failed, they have brought her to die. And I'm talking to her about the nonsense. What if this nonsense works? And then he kept on quarreling. You know, he's an old man, but he wanted to push me out of the house. And then the patient herself said, but why? People have been coming here to see me. Why are you particularly incensed against this one? Of course, the devil was not happy. So I talked to her. I said, I know I don't have the ability to tell you about salvation because you are in such excruciating pain. But I want you to now look to me. I don't know where those words came to. I said, now look to me, that I'm a representation of Christ. And that you should take the words I'm going to tell you. And later on, when you are free, I'll tell you about Jesus. So I said, Jesus has sent me here to pray for you. Of course, they had heard those stories of the people that God had healed. But of course, this was a different case, cancer, you know. And then when I was talking like that, the man came again. And then she was able to tell him, if I die because this young man is praying for me, let me die. How many people have come here and prayed? And you never stopped him. And then the woman tearfully was saying, truly, I'm in so much pain. Whatever God has told you to do, because she remembered my cousin sister whom I prayed for, who was a midwife, you remember, whom God delivered. It was just a close distance from her. She remembered God delivered that one. So I prayed for her. And I left. I told her, just take the words I've told you. After you are delivered, I'll come. We shall talk more about Jesus. So, I tell you, friends, that is where God started now breaking and, creating inroads into this clan system that rose up so much against the word. Because when I prayed for that woman, it wasn't long that even that evening she started feeling okay. And the next day I went there to see her. I found her seated outside, which was completely not possible. And after just 1 week, the woman was normal. And someone who was sent back home to die is still alive up to now, and she's still a believer in the church. So, 1995 started on that note.